So today we are going to be unboxing the TECNO Mobile CAMON 17 Pro. Now for those of you unfamiliar with the brand, it's a smartphone manufacturer that's pretty big in places like Southeast Asia, India and Africa. And I have a feeling it's a brand you're going to be hearing a lot more of in the not too distant future. So before I dive into the blue and white box, let me just give you a quick breakdown of what you can expect from TECNO Mobile's new phone. This thing's packed with features to take advantage of taking a good selfies. So we've got a 6.8-inch 1080 by 2460 Full HD display, so it's going to be plenty sharp with lots of detail. It's also got a 90 Hz refresh rate, so everything's going to be smooth when it comes to animation, usability, games and things like that. It's also fully loaded with Android 11, so you're getting the latest Android operating system. Under the hood, when it comes to the engine, you've got the Helio G85. So this thing is going to be plenty powerful and it's going to be able to handle pretty much anything you throw at it. When it comes to the battery, you're looking at 5,000 milliamps. So this thing is definitely going to last until the end of the day. When it comes to storage, you're looking at 256 gigs, so plenty of room for all your photos, videos and music. There's also 8 gig of RAM as well. So this thing's going to be nice and smooth. So ultimately what you're looking at here is a mid-range smartphone with a few features that you might find on smartphones with a higher price tag. So the first thing you notice when taking it out of the box is that it feels like a premium device. It's nice and slim. I think it will be perfect for one-handed use. And the curved edges just really complement this stylish design. If you flip it around back, you'll notice this gorgeous pearlescent blue design. And not only is it pretty, but you'll notice it's not a fingerprint magnet as well, which I think is very, very important in a modern day smartphone. CAMON's also clearly put its stamp on the device on the bottom left-hand corner. You may or may not be a fan of that, but I think it's quite pretty. You'll also notice this quad camera array here. It's quite nice to see a different design from CAMON actually, because in the past we've seen a square camera array sitting in the back, we've seen pop-up cameras as well. So what we've got now is a more slimline, unobtrusive design that doesn't protrude too much out the back of the phone, so it's really quite nice and discreet. Along the side, you've got your fingerprint scanner, which also doubles up as your power button. Now, you'll notice that my thumb rests quite naturally on that fingerprint sensor, so that's really nicely positioned. Just above that, you've got volume buttons, and they've got little ridges on them, so nice and tactile, which means they'll be nice and easy to find and locate. They don't sit too flush with the phone, which I think is a nice design feature. It's also got a headphone jack. Now, one of the biggest bugbears of modern day smartphones when it comes to users is the removal of the headphone jack. So it's nice to know that's there if you're still into using wired headphones. When it comes to charging, you've got USB-C. So let's turn it on and fire it up. Powered by Android, as we know. Okay, now the setup process is quite easy, and if you're not familiar with the Android setup, it will show you what to do and essentially hold your hand through the process. It's all pretty straightforward. Set up your Wi-Fi, agree to the terms of use, of course. You can turn on location features. You don't have to do all this at the setup. You can come back and do all of this kind of thing later. And here you can set up your face unlock, your fingerprint scanner, that kind of thing, and then you're good to go. Okay, so now we're in. I just want to show you the 90 Hz refresh rate. So if I scroll through this, for example, can you see how fluid the animation is? There's no lag, and that's because of the high refresh rate of the screen. And what you'll notice as well, those of you who are familiar with Android, is that TECNO Mobile have put their own high OS 7.6 skin onto the operating system. So there's a few extra features for you to play around with courtesy of TECNO Mobile. So when it comes to the camera, you're looking at 48 megapixels, which is complemented quite nicely with telephoto and wide angle lenses to suit all shooting conditions. The CAMON 17 Pro also features something called Magic Pixel Mode. So it ups the pixel count to 108 megapixels for gorgeous landscape photography. You can also shoot in HDR, so flick this on when you want to add more detail to shadows and highlights. And when it comes to shooting after dark, it's super night mode. It should take pretty decent pictures when the lights go low. And as for the app itself, there are a lot of really fun features to sink your teeth into and just have a bit of fun with. So let me fire up the camera app, take a picture and show you what I'm talking about. Now, the first thing I noticed when firing up the camera is that its AI cam mode immediately kicked in. Now, what this does is automatically recognize your surroundings and optimizes the settings accordingly. So great if you're not a pro shooter and you're just someone who wants to pick up your smartphone and point and shoot. Other options include beauty mode and portrait. So adding that depth of field effect to your photos is an option if you want it. But when you've taken your photo, there are lots of editing options, and that is what I want to show you right now. So let's take a look at the picture that I just shot. Tom looking lovely there on camera. So, as you can see, got lots of filters, lots of options to apply a filter to your photos. That's pretty standard fare in smartphones these days, but it's nice to have it there on the phone and not accessible via an app. Got editing options, pretty standard, you know, crop and rotate. You can add text, watermark, frame, and the bokeh effect. But the adjust option, now this is where you really tweak your photos. So you can adjust the color, saturation, clarity, things like that. But I think the really important thing to hammer home here is just how easy it is to use. So when you pick each option, you simply swipe to the left or right to adjust your image, and it really is as simple as that. And when it comes to taking those all-important selfies, you've got an unobtrusive pinhole camera sitting at the top of the display. Now, what I've noticed is, like we've seen on the back camera, AI intelligence kicks in to automatically optimize your shooting settings so you can take the perfect selfie. And of course, you've got all those editing options to take advantage of as well. Now, when it comes to video, there's some real fun to be had, starting with AR shots. So this is basically an augmented reality emoji that you can create in your likeness. And then once you hold the camera up, it then superimposes that animation onto your face. You can have a bit of fun with it, play around with it, send to your mates, share on social media. TECNO Mobile says this is the most advanced version of the software yet. So it's able to mimic your facial features quite well, as you can see. And it's just a great way to just have a bit of fun on your smartphone. It also shoots time-lapse in 2K and 4K. There's night vision mode like we've seen on the back, so this thing should take great pictures in low light. You can also apply the bokeh effect onto your photos as well, you know, the portrait mode that we've all come to know and love, to apply that depth of field effect onto your photos. But for me, the real fun is in the short video option. So here you can shoot 15-second videos, you can apply all kinds of different effects, some of which have music, some don't. It's just a really fun way to get creative with your videos, and again, share with your mates or upload to social media. And finally, the last feature I want to tell you about is privacy and security. So like I mentioned earlier, the fingerprint scanner is perfect for keeping your phone safe and secure. But there's a new feature that I've been told will be coming to the final consumer unit, and that's something called privacy film. So what this means is when you're looking straight on at your phone, anyone trying to be nosy, looking in from either your left or right, will see nothing but a dark screen. So everything you're looking at is private, safe, and secure. And there you have it, the TECNO Mobile CAMON 17 Pro. If you're wondering when it's going to be available, it's out in April.